Once again, another classic title that shaped the way we play and experience games today, but also one that was torn from being released at all. GTA 3 is celebrating 20 years as of October the 22nd, 2021. So I thought I'd dig it out and have a go at it again and see how it plays in today's world of modern titles. And you bet your ass we are playing this on period correct hardware. I have the 2001 gaming PC build here, and it's going to play it in all 800 by 600 resolution, screen tearing glory.
Yeah, boy.
Developed with a 23-person core team from DMA Design and distributed by Rockstar Games on October the 22nd, 2001 for the PS2, and of course the 21st of May 2002 for PCs, and October the 31st, quite a bit later, 2003 for Xbox. GTA 3 dawned a new generation of 3D world experience and exploration. A big technical jump from its predecessor, GTA 2 and 1, the new 3D world set a standard for how we play open world games to this day. The storytelling was a big focus of the gameplay as well, pushing the player along, mission to mission, chapter to chapter, to an eventual conclusion. All wrapped up into a blanket of freedom for the player to explore and experiment. This also sparked the future for the mod scene, with new creative ideas, improving the gameplay far beyond the time or resource constraints of the initial development. The tragic events of September 11th, 2001 changed some of the direction and design of the title. The team were unsure if they wanted to release it at all. There was a delay to the initial launch by 3 weeks, as their offices were very close to ground zero, so getting to the office was difficult for the team, and they felt some changes needed to be made before going to store shelves. Things such as the police car colour schemes were changed from blue to black, a flight path of a plane was rerouted, and some dialogue and one mission was removed, counting to about 1% of change to the game. But after everything that happened during that time, the game's popularity was proven with the sales figures. It was the highest selling game of 2001 for the PlayStation 2 platform, selling over 2 million copies by February of 2002. Sales figures report a total of 14.5 million units sold worldwide by March of 2008. Currently, there's no more updated sales stats on that I could find. But unlike GTA 2, its successor opened doors to a new world. You have freedom to roam around the cities and the islands. The atmosphere of the city as well feels like it's living. It turns quite dark and foggy at some times and some points during the game, but opens up to bright sunny days. And each island has its own unique feel and layout. Like more modern GTA titles, the car movement and handling is unique to the vehicle that you're driving. Some of them can feel quite zippy and light, others sort of bounce around and can be quite frustrating to drive, very Ford Exploder-like, just waiting to roll over for a belly rub. From my research that I was doing on the game and things that players found annoying, of course, aiming and shooting is one thing. I want to just move a little bit to the left. If you press the arrow keys or something while you're trying to aim on the scope here, it just moves you left. The scope left, sorry. And there's no duck for cover like on Vice City or San Andreas where you can duck behind things. It was quite annoying. Some of the car handling as well, some of the vehicles, especially this Landstalker, is dreadful to drive. It's just crap, you're just waiting to flip over at any moment. Very real, I guess, for some of those vehicles in real life. Also drowning is still a thing, so no swimming for you, like in Vice City. I had a few problems with that. Also the lack of vehicles to fly. You get one, it's the Dodo. It was never intended to fly, but you can make it fly with some practice. Although I had no real luck using it for anything practical like missions. Moving around the city with gangs can be problematic, especially when your relationship with that gang falls apart and they try and blow your legs off while you're passing by. Also, the lack of a pause menu map was a big problem for me. It's been so long since I played GTA 3, I forgot where everything was, often getting lost in a circle. But thanks to fans of the game, often issues like these can be resolved, and we'll explore those later. The in-game radio was a neat idea. Chatterbox Talk Radio is still a true classic, and I really like the soundtrack opening screen.
Using a new technology called biorhythmic subconscious gymnastics, the dormitory exercise.
It's on later. No, he got taken off the air. He lied, I know he did. I've been trying to make a hybrid of a peach and a Pekingese midget fight bitch for the last 2 years, and it is impossible.
All right, hello, next caller. You're on Chatterbox.
I want to talk about that bang stuff. People say it's bad for you. It's not bad for you at all. Why aren't you talking? Wait, you think I'm strange? Am I on the air? Hello? Answer me, you can be.
What's your question?
Bang! 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 Bang!
What about it? I mean, that's not really a question. Questions usually start with words like how. What book have you been reading that tells you that toothpaste is evil?
Entrance to the devil from the Great Cavity Cover-Up by J. Bill Higginbottom. See what I've seen? If you've heard what I've heard, you'd never brush your teeth again.
I suppose you're one of those people that say...
I do really like that title screen music, it's really jazzy. Right, well, one of the biggest selling features of the game was the introduction of a real storyline that you could play through. Many of you have played the game before, it's a true classic, but we'll boil it down for everyone. And yep, as I said, we're going to be playing this on the genuine hardware, so there's going to be stuttering, tearing, everything you've already pretty much seen. But let's kick off into the storyline and go through the basic playthrough. The game starts you off with you and your associates relieving a bank of its profits. However, your girlfriend Catalina has some other ideas.
Sorry, babe. I'm an ambitious girl. You're just small time.
Falling behind schedule, this disaster leaves Portland isolated from the rest of the city.
While being transported, your convoy is hit with a breakout team. They're not here for you, but you get an opportunity to make an escape.
You're gonna be sorry.
I know a place on the edge of the red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother. I know this guy. He's connected. His name's Luigi. Me and him go back, so I can probably get you some work. Come on, let's go.
Your cellmate introduces you into the Mafia family for work, and suddenly, just like that, you're thrown into the role of errand boy. While you're working away for the Mafia around Portland, you find yourself wondering what happened to your girlfriend that tried to kill you. Over time, you learn more about her plans as you progress through the story.
Mr. Big Mouth himself.
Were you followed? You know what goes on here is our little secret, amigo.
No, I wasn't followed.
You got my stuff?
Turns out she's making some spank on her cruise boat, and that's basically just the in-game drugs, of
You
course.
must be making spank on that big boat that Curly led you to. So we gotta use our heads. Or rather, one head. Your head. I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. If you do this for me, you will be a made man. Anything you want.
That running animation always cracks me up. It's just his arms and hands just sort of all glued together as he's trying to run. You know, have you ever seen anyone sort of run with their arms down by their sides like that? As you work for the Mafia, they find your services are no longer required, and the Mafia family tries to clean you off their books. Thankfully, their lady associate, Maria, of the Mafia family tips you off to this.
Salvatore thinks that we're going behind his back, so he was offering you to the cartel in order to make a deal. I couldn't let him do that. I mean, the worst thing is, it's all my fault because I told him we were an item. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Look, you're a marked man on the Mafia turf, and I've got to get out of here, too. I've seen too much killing, too much blood. Look, this is a friend of mine, okay? She's an old friend, and it's so good. She's someone we can trust.
Come on, enough of the speeches. We better get out of here before we get more hysterical Italians wanting less friendly reunions.
Making an escape to Staten Island leads you straight into the arms of another gang, the Yakuza. However, before your new family accepts you, they ask you to prove you've cut your ties with the Mafia by taking out their leader, Salvatore Leone. It's at this point the missions start to get more difficult. You end up doing more jobs for people you've been introduced to. Some of these might be for a corrupt cop, others might be for a billionaire property investor and media juggernaut. All with their own challenges and needs, of course. Some tips I learned playing through the second island was via some speedrunners. I'll link KZ Fru's channel in the description. He does a great GTA series, but you can eliminate Kenji, which is Asuka's brother, with the rocket launcher in that particular location. That sort of takes care of him quite easily. So yeah, there's little tips and tricks like that. You can even play in the game before I didn't know, which makes it quite fun.
The whore got away. But you've done me a favor. You're not the only one that has a score to settle with the cartel.
Because you've created this rift now between the Colombian cartel and the Yakuzas, Asuka squeezes information out of cartel gang member Miguel, and you're sent out again to pick apart Catalina's and the cartel's spank operations, along with the infamous Espresso to Go mission. This has you driving around the city on a timer to find and destroy spank distribution stalls. It can be quite difficult if you don't know where they are, but the easiest method I found was just to drive around all the islands and streets until they came up on my mini-map. And from there you can just sort of pick them apart and blow them up, completing the mission. After completing this mission for Asuka, you find herself and Miguel have been murdered by Catalina, and that your new girlfriend Maria has been taken hostage for a money exchange.
Did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back? Well, I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business. You are muy pequeñito, amigo. Throw over the cash. You have been a busy boy, but you haven't learned. I'm not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
You've been led into a trap. Catalina orders you to be killed, and she makes her grand escape in a helicopter. After making yours too, you must then fight your way through the roadblocks into the dam. killing her men to take down Catalina's helicopter. And pretty much just like that, after doing all of that, you're rewarded with a quick closing sequence and then straight into the credit scene. Right, now the part I really like, and that's some of the mods. Some of these have been carefully crafted and some of them not so much, but that's okay. Long story short, there is an abundance of mods you can have for the game. If you just go out there and search for them, you can find them, and as long as you got the time, you can install them pretty much. Some of them do require more modern operating systems, like that Clio pack. It turns out doesn't work on Windows 98, but some of these, like this admin console, super handy if you just want to, give yourself a bunch of armor, health, weapons, of course, and all sorts of other things. You can teleport, although I had a bit of trouble getting that to work. Some of the other things that you can put on there is skins for weapons. You can see in the top right corner some of the skins have changed, some of the weapons themselves have changed, sort of refining, I guess, the game a little bit. There's other weapons you can add, of course, and mods and things like that, so as long as I said you can find them, yeah. And my favourite one of all was actually the one for the Dodo. Just being able to fly that around the city was so cool. You don't really get to explore the top of the city much by air, of course, because the Dodo is so hard to fly. Even with the mod, you can see here I'm still struggling to fly it. It's not perfect at all, but I mean, it definitely makes it, flyable. With a little bit of finesse and practice, you can get it to fly quite nicely. Yeah, had heaps of fun just flying around the city, really, and just looking at the views. It was great. Another one which is actually quite popular is a swimming mod. There's a few different ones out here. I just sort of grabbed this one. Sort of puts you into like a falling state. It's a little bit janky, but it does work and might work in a pinch if you need it. And the car spawn is actually really good as well, and I've got a speedometer on the bottom left of the screen, as well as a free mouse movement. So you move the mouse and change the camera angles with the car, and when you change your view on your car, it sort of resets it to standard. It doesn't have a self-return mechanism on that, so I found it a bit weird, but yeah. The other favourite one I really liked was the ability to shoot and run. So some of the weapons you stay stationary when you're shooting them. It can be quite annoying when you're trying to be tactical and get around things. In later games I think they changed some of these, but yeah, just the ability to move and shoot some of the more powerful weapons made it really fun. The next one that I found actually really useful was the mini-map extension. You can hold down 1 or Q, can't remember which, but it brings up a map and you can see the whole island that you're on. It just makes it so much easier if you're trying to navigate somewhere and you just want to quickly look. You can add icons as well to the map. Alright, conclusion time. Overall, it's still a great game to play, and it's more simple than other 3D GTA games, but, has its own charms, and over time, they seem to show more. It's just as time goes on. It feels unique as well to some of the other titles, GTA ones. more to its atmosphere and everything, but more so to how it plays. Be some nice views to look at, definitely. Some of the car mechanics do feel clunky and can show their age, but I'll tell you, the storyline just sort of helps pull it all together as a complete package. I still have fun playing it though, and especially on period correct hardware, it was a lot of fun, and you can get it working on Windows 10 with some practice as well. Rockstar are picking up a re-release package or something. I don't know what they're doing at the time of recording this, but might be worth looking into to pick up a copy of the game when that sort of all comes out. And thanks for watching. Hope everyone enjoyed the retrospective of the 20th anniversary of GTA 3. Comment below if you enjoyed this classic back in the day. What was your favourite title as well? GTA title, that is. Mine personally is Vice City. I'm very biased to that. But yep, stay safe, stay sane, and catch you guys in the next one.
Give your meat a good old rub. Yeah, boy.